Hi, my name is John Humenick. Welcome to my channel. I'm sure you're excited to be here. I know I am to be talking to you. So I want to unlock the one thing that you can do today to dramatically increase your income. If you're new to this channel, I want you to subscribe right now because we put out amazing content on wealth and other things. If you're not familiar who I am, I run a ministry, John Humenick Ministries, which now has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. We have over 60,000 subscribers on Instagram, and we have been seen across the world 20 million times. So success is a part of the things that I am walking out and stewarding. So I want to encourage you today that no matter where you're at in your life, and I want you to watch this entire video, that you know that you can be in a position of success in a very short period of time. There's no question that there are a lot of things that could potentially be working against you in your day in life. You could be mounting bills, you could have excessive car payments, maybe caught in a bad mortgage or interest rate or something, maybe even lost your job. But I want to encourage you here today that there is one thing that you can start doing today that will just totally transform everything that you need to do and be able to immediately move you in a position to be able to increase your income almost overnight and allow you to be able to receive all that you are going out there and trying to accomplish. Now, one of the key things to understand is that finance takes some aspect of understanding and wealth. And there are different things a part of what you need to do and walk out. So listen to the rest of this video because the one thing that's going to transform you is something that really is very, very easy to do, but a lot of people don't actually go about doing it. And I know that a lot of people are saying, well, you can go ahead and operate with a budget in mind and understand how your income comes in and how those things play into all the things you do. And those are really important. And I'm not going to discount those things because you kind of have to know and understand your finances from that perspective. And if you don't know what that is, then you should get a grip on it. You shouldn't have excessive TV subscriptions. You shouldn't be paying excessive costs on your cell phone. Even your car, you really shouldn't be doing the things that really put you in a position of hurt or mounting debt. You know, there's all kinds of forms of debt consolidations and things where you can go get a loan and get something that may be cheaper. But the very thing that I want to talk about today, while those are what I would consider fundamental things, and I'm hoping that you're doing those things. And if you're not, that's something you can clearly start on. But the one thing that's going to transform how you operate, and this is the secret that a lot of people in the millionaires, in the tens of millions, in the hundreds of millions, and even to a degree, the billionaires is that they have one thing in common, and that is they have a true vision of what they're trying to accomplish in life. And the further you look out in the context of your vision, then that is where you start to notice the difference between those people that are operating at below $1 million, above $1 million, and above $1 billion. Because what you see is that if you're focused on the things of today, this is the secret that I really want you to grasp, because the moment you get this, it's going to transform everything that you do. And I'm going to walk you through how to do that even on this video. The vision that you have on your life needs to be able to be something that's long running. Now, unless you're 100 years old and you're watching this video, and God bless you if you are, you're going to have at least a 30 or 40 year run ahead of you. And so God allows us to live to 120 years. It's established. Go look it up in the Guinness World Book of Records. No one has really lived past 120 years since ancient times. And so you are going to have a runway that's going to be around 30, 40, 50, or even greater. If you're really young, you could be as high as 80 or even 100 years. People that do not have vision perish. This is a key point because you need to have a vision of where you want to be and working towards that on an everyday basis. It's a guide that you're going to continue moving forward. It's like a compass. And this is the difference between what a billionaire does and a millionaire and what someone who isn't even a millionaire operates. Billionaires always think about things from a 30-year, 50-year, 80-year plan. That's how they operate. They all operate in these long running things. Now, you may be in a situation where you might be with a company that might be in a private equity firm, and you might be operating under different rules and regulations. I can assure you, in the context of the company, that may be operating under a short 2 to 3 year window, which a lot of them do in a private equity mindset. But the private equity firm is thinking long term. And that's what you see at the billionaire level. That's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire, because a millionaire generally thinks between 1 to 5 years out. So they're constantly focused on what they can do, how they can build, and basically get to the next stage of growth. So they're very, not short-sighted, but they're being in a situation where they're trying to walk things out, and they're saying, okay, I have a vision for 12 months. I got a relatively clear vision for 36 months, but you know what, 5 years out, it's going to be pretty much subjective to all the things and market conditions and things like that. But a billionaire doesn't do that, because a billionaire looks at things and says, you know what, in 30 years out, I'm going to be able to continue to transform, raise up, and guide people into the places. I'm going to create new markets. I'm going to go out there and establish new paradigms. I'm going to train people. If I have to build a college, I'll go ahead and do that. And I will get myself there because I have both the means, the capacity, and understanding to go the distance. The people that operate underneath the millionaire mindset, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are, and if you're on this boat, I really want to kind of walk you through the very things a vision will transform you, because the moment you put a vision into place, you are going to actually transform how you operate, and you will start to get in a mindset, truly even in a millionaire mindset, very quickly. And then it will actually transform you into a $10 million mindset and beyond. Now, the key thing to understand is that dependent on where you're at in life and the things that you're dealing with, the approach and what I would consider the velocity and basically the vector in which you're going to rise will vary. Your ability to continue to grow in both wealth and kingdom mindsets are going to be inhibited by your ability to be able to transform yourself day in and day out. That's going to be a key thing, because you're not going to be able to think like a billionaire on day one, because you may have not understood all the constructs that a billionaire operates in. And when you're at that level, you look at things completely differently. But what's really key is what you can start today by doing is start acting like one, because that's the difference between people that have a billionaire mindset and a millionaire mindset and not. Because those who build things towards a $1 billion mindset, what happens is they immediately do the things that allow them to be successful, and they can scale. It's about being able to have process optimization, doing things with a repeatable manner, and then having automation or technology that can go about and do it, and then they augment that with people. If you apply that simple principle in all your things, it will allow you to approach your vision in a very, very effective way today, and it'll transform everything you're doing for tomorrow. So let's go with a perfect example. Let's say you love ice cream and you want to open up an ice cream shop. And you're like, I don't have a small vision. I want to create a global chain of ice cream shops that I'm going to be able to establish a franchise that anyone can pick up with relatively low income and get it established. So what would you do? The most important thing is you got to have that vision. So your vision is saying, I want to have an ice cream shop in every major city in the United States. And let's just say, for rounding numbers perspective, that's 100 ice cream shops. You want to have 2 in every state. So now what you're going to do is, okay, I'm going to have a vision of going out there and creating that. So now what you can do is you can back off that vision and understand, okay, what will it take to achieve 100 ice cream shops, as well as what it will take for me to both advertise it, as well as train people up. What is the process around franchising, all those things. So what you do is you have that vision and you establish it at a far point. And what you do is you start to work yourself backwards and say, okay, in this point, this is where I need to be. But then eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to be practical and say, well, actually I got to go open an ice cream shop. So now what you start to understand is that there's going to be logistics involved, getting ice cream in and being able to keep it cool, and then being able to serve it and understanding how people like to be served. Is it something that you're going to have machines that serve them? So they can do like soft serve, or you're going to have a counter where they're going to go up and order it, or are you going to have a drive-through? You start to ask yourself these questions and say, how would I build an ice cream shop? How would it look? What would the paint be? What would the colors be? What are my hours are going to be? Am I going to do things through social media? Am I going to promote it through word of mouth, or am I going to do advertising campaigns? But what you're doing is that vision establishes a goal that you want to continue to work toward year over year over year. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're really trying to do three things. You're trying to establish a process that goes through and steps you through every single thing you have to do in order to make an ice cream shop successful. Then you then add technology. So you're saying, okay, well, now I want to be able to go in and incorporate automation here where people can come in and they can serve themselves. But I'm also going to have a counter where there's going to have all these other things, maybe some fruits, nuts, toppings, all kinds of syrups, but I'm going to have employees manage that. And then now you're going to have a checkout, which can then allow them to either check out automatically or have someone do it for them. And then you may have cards that, be able to say, if you purchase 10, you get one free. And you can go through this process. You can have an app that they can buy things so that their receipt is there so they can see how often things are. You can have notifications on the app as an example to say, hey, look, we're running a special on chocolate today. Come in and get it. It's 50% off. And now you can send out messages to those people that are there. What you've done is you've caught and you created a process that become repeatable. The people, process, and technology is known as the golden triangle. And it is the undercurrent of every single process and business in the entire world. It doesn't matter if you're doing EOS. It doesn't matter if you're doing all forms of agile development like Scrum, CMMI, Waterfall. It doesn't matter. If you're in business in any way, shape, or form, whatever business model that you've chosen to run is undergirded by these principles. But what you've done is once you've created a process, attached technology to it, and put people in it, what you've done is you've created a cycle that you can actually apply everywhere. You can do this even in your home, even for your kitchen to wash dishes. Think about it. You can have your kids help you. You have a dishwasher, and you can have notifications that say, hey, whose turn it is. So you can actually have all the same things, people, process, and technology, washing dishes in your house. When you apply that principle to your finances, you're now going to be able to understand how you're going to be able to operate in a truly kingdom mindset that allows you to be very successful. And now what you'll do is you'll be able to refine things and start to scale. Because if you want this ice cream business to do well, you have to make it profitable. So you have to understand all the different pieces in order to make it work, because you have to charge enough to make money. You also have to charge enough to be able to get people to come in the door, but not too much that deters them, as well as local competition. But once you've established that entire business and got that to generally what we see here is when people doing very successful reach about $250,000 or $250,000 in the bank, what you've done is now you've established a principle that allows you to move forward. And now you can say, okay, now I can franchise that. So now I can have someone else buy this model and then help them do it. And guess what happens? You go from one store to 100 without a problem. But it all starts with your vision. Your vision is key to undergirding all of these things, because when you understand how vision works, it establishes the destination. And without the destination, you're going to end up wandering. It's no different within anything. It's like if you want to have a goal to save money, if you want to have a goal to be able to go on a vacation, whatever that may be, you're going to be able to establish the things you want because you have a vision. And what you do is you start to course correct all the things you need to do. Let's back that example off even further and say, okay, well, if you wanted to start an ice cream shop today, do you even have the money for the place, the actual office that you're going to put it in, and all of the products? Well, you're saying, no, I'm overspending in these areas. So now what you can do is you can back that off and start to save money and put things away, cut things out of your life, and establish a true path that allows you to go forward. You might say, well, I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about finance. I don't know anything about marketing. You start to look, okay, what are the things that I can learn? What are the things I need to hire? Are there other people out there that have done something similar? Maybe I might be interested in buying a franchise that can help me get established and then take all of that and then move forward. Without vision, you will ultimately perish. That's what the Bible talks about. That's what a lot of different, business models and all things. If you don't have a goal, a true vision that's very succinct that everyone can run with, you will fail. And that's the difference between people operating under $1 million, people operating $1 million and $1 billion, is because it's basically how big the vision is and how long it takes to accomplish it. Because billionaires think very, very long term. Their lifetime visions that really ultimately go down to their children, their grandchildren, as well as the people that they're raising up in their organizations. Millionaires think in kind of shorter terms, like I said, 1 to 5 years, possibly 10 years. But a lot of times millionaires are using this as staging grounds to sell and then get a bigger business and try to get to a point where you can get to be where, hey, now I'm going to be able to fund things so I can, make the leap to $1 billion. And then other people who don't have a vision, they get stuck and caught in the same cycle every single day. And that's the nuance. That's the one secret, that when you start to establish a vision for yourself on your life, for your family, and for everything you want to accomplish, you will orient everything that's not right in your life to the correct orientation. You'll point it in a direction you need to go, and you'll go, and you will find out very quickly, especially if you already are doing well financially from like a job perspective, you'll be shocked at how excessive a lot of people's spends are, including yourself, that you could really pare back, open things up, and move forward in a big way. And your income can dramatically increase because now you can take that money, put it in stocks. You could take that money and put it in different things, in different investments that will do very well and actually allow you to work that money and multiply in a big way, a la Ecclesiastes 11:2, and be very successful. So I really hope that this video gets you up and going, gets you thinking about the things that you need to do, and allows you to be successful from this moment forward. Because once you have a clear vision and that has truly unlocked, and you start to establish the process to get to that vision, you go through the technology piece, and then you incorporate the people, you will be successful. And you just refine it and repeat it. You make it simple so that someone else can do it, and you will be surprised. That literally is the very thing that everyone that's at the very top has done, but they just have stewarded decade over decade, year over year, and month over month. And everyone else that hasn't either is on their way or just stops because they kind of cap out.